Hey guys, it's me, Erica. Today I'm coming to you with my first sit-down chat about some things that I've been through and about life. I think it's really important to share things you've gone through in your life, just like I think it's important to share embarrassing stories. I think it's important to share real stories and real pictures of how we've gotten to where we are today as who we are, and snapshots in time of how we were dealing with things from our past. I've talked about this topic a lot in my real life to people I know because it affects me so much to this day. And it's, I just don't, I've spoken about these things, I've thought about them, I've reflected on them for years. And I don't want a lack of getting emotional to make people think that it's not still real for me. It's just not as raw. And the wounds have healed, but there's still scars, and those scars still show from time to time. So today I'm going to be talking about my weight loss journey, how, where I started, where I am today, all the nasties in the middle. And it doesn't seem, that doesn't seem serious to some people, and I understand that. But for me, this journey was long, and it was hard, and it was filled with a lot of ups and downs. And I think, especially just the age that I was when a lot of this stuff happened, just plays a part in who I am today, and I will elaborate on that near the end of the video. I just want to share this story so that people that are out there that have lost weight and experienced these things, or are where I was at a certain point in my life, and these people that are experiencing these things that I've experienced, know that there's an end and there's a light, and people may see how important it is to be healthy. So yeah, I'm just going to get into it. I have a notebook here so that I don't skip anything. There's a bunch of little anecdotes in there. So when I was a little kid, I was a pretty normal size. I was actually a premature baby. And I wasn't a big kid at all. And then in first grade, I was hospitalized for severe kidney infection for a week. I had a very high fever. It was pretty dangerous. It was pretty scary. But my whole family agrees that something changed over that week. Something in my personality changed. But also, I like to pinpoint that time in my life is when I started gaining weight. I didn't have the best eating habits, and correlation does not imply causation, so I don't think there's nothing that makes me think that what happened, anything happened to me physically in the hospital that made these things happen. I think there was just a change in me because it was intense. But anyway, I didn't have the best eating habits. My family worked at a bowling alley, so I'd come home from school and not eat the best, and I wasn't the nicest, and so people didn't really mess with me. So that's when bad eating habits began, and it wasn't necessarily that I ate in excess, even though I could put away the food. I just didn't eat healthily. I was a kid. I didn't know. I just wanted whatever tasted good. I would say that I was a chubby kid until I started getting into 4th, 5th, and 6th, where that's where I would say that I was overweight, and it was growing into a problem. And that problem, as a younger kid, hadn't registered in my mind. But once I hit 4th, 5th, 6th grade, puberty starts to set in. 4th and 5th grade, that's when I really started noticing boys. I had an interest in boys, but boys didn't have an interest in me. So within myself, I was growing this realization that my size, my weight, could be an issue. And it was an issue with myself because going through puberty, you start noticing girls' bodies changing, your friends. You couldn't see those changes in me. And boys are starting to notice your friends, and they're not noticing you in that way. And so these realizations started becoming, noticeable, and, I could pinpoint it within myself. It didn't hit me that anything needed to change. That's just when I started noticing something's different. That's when I started becoming, self-conscious in PE about jiggling when I ran and not moving a certain way so that I wouldn't jiggle, and not looking dumb when I ran because I'm not athletic. That's when those things started setting in. 6th grade, it got really intense. This is when everyone started having their little relationships in 6th grade. I really started liking guys. Nobody wanted me. I had a really close friendship and was in love with a guy in my class, and I knew that wasn't going to happen, and I knew my size was part of it. When things really took a turn was, I think it would have been my 12th birthday. I was at a play practice, and a friend came up to me, and I don't know what made her tell me these things. I don't hold it against her. We were in 6th grade. But she came up to me and she told me, she said, hey, today, just what 6th graders tell each other. She said, today I heard this person and this person talking about how fat you are. I'm sure that the thought, that word had crossed my mind. I'm sure that it had come through. I had tried diets before because my family was recognizing maybe she's not healthy, she's gaining weight. But, that was just in my family unit and within myself mostly. And when this person said that to me, number one, that's awful. Number two, it was like a button got pressed. It was like, it hit me like a brick of walls. Other people know. It's just not me. It's not just my family. Other people see this. Other people acknowledge it. Other people are talking about it. And I remember just crying in front of everyone, and it was really terrible, embarrassing. And these classmates, if they watch this video, they probably wouldn't even know who they are. The person that told me might, and she's still my friend, but those two people probably wouldn't know. It was a random conversation that they had that got overheard in 6th grade. I don't remember the conversations I had in 6th grade. But it changed my life. That one conversation that two people had overheard changed my life. And even though at this point it had entered my mind and I knew other people were conscious of it, which made me more self-conscious, I didn't start losing weight. I don't think that was the moment when it happened. Sometimes even when something hits you like a load of bricks, things don't change right away. So I gained more weight into 7th grade. So to give you an idea, I'm 5'3". I'm kind of a petite person. I've got a larger frame build because I'm German. That's where I trace that to. But I'm still a small, short, petite person. In 7th grade, so I'm 12 going into 7th grade, I was coming in at around 180 pounds, which, depending on what you're composed of, can be, pretty healthy. But it was not. It was not healthy. It was nowhere near healthy. I was not. So in 7th grade, I'm becoming even more interested in guys. Obsessed. I became obsessed with this idea of someone liking me, which is so sad. And I think every girl does it. But for me, it was a far off ideal because no one was going to like me how I was. So at some point, this new kid came to my school and all the girls liked him. It's hard for me to talk about this because, a lot of people won't know who I'm talking about, but people from my class will. And I just want you to know that I do not hold that against him. We are in 7th grade. If you know who I'm talking about in this little story and you would like to hold something against him, that means that you'd be willing to have something held against you that you did in 7th grade, which shouldn't happen. I don't want that to happen to me, as I said before about 6th grade. But in 7th grade, this kid came to my school, and all the girls liked him, and I developed a friendship with this guy. And, I found myself doing my hair before school events and doing all this stuff, and we would talk on iPods because we didn't have phones yet. And I remember talking to him about one thing, and he was like, hey, I just want to let you know you looked really good with your hair like that. But don't tell anybody that I told you that. That was kind of weird to me, but okay. I'm falling for this guy as much as a 7th grader can. And a little bit down the road, he all of a sudden is dating this other girl in our class. Just dating her. I'm distraught. I'm sitting downstairs playing Sims, eating my dill pickle Pringles, like legit, I remember it. And I'm crying. And I'm like, you didn't even tell me, like, we're supposed to be friends, you didn't even tell me that you like her. So he dates her, and all that goes on. And I don't remember the exact timeline. And other things will go before this in the story, but we're just going to wrap up this little chapter, because this falls into, I think it happened in 8th grade, the end of this story. But, you know, he dated her, they eventually broke up because 7th grade. Some people don't, but a lot of people do break up. So I remember talking to him months, years later. I don't remember. I want to say months because I don't think this kind of conversation would have happened years later. But we were talking, and at some point I said, hey, blank. I kind of want to talk about what happened with that other girl. Like, you kind of liked me, and you knew I liked you, so why was there not communication there? Like, what happened? And I knew what happened. I knew what happened. And he kind of went around the question, and I said, blank, I know. I know why you didn't date me. You don't have to. I just need you to tell me. I need you to say that to me. And he did. And he told me it was because, you know, something around, you know, I'm not really into bigger girls, or I didn't want to date a bigger girl. And that was another huge boom. Whoa. Other people know it, and, you know, even though I suspected that that was why guys weren't liking me, and people were perceiving me different, it was, you know, that was the realization of that. It's happening. It lost me someone I liked. So, by the end of 7th grade and into 8th grade, I had started, you know, eating a little bit healthier, and then puberty hit, and that helped a bit, right? Like, probably 10, 15 pounds, you know. I didn't grow, but, you know, I don't know exactly what happens in the body at puberty, but it helped a little bit, because I know I didn't do anything intense with my eating. I know I probably didn't drink as much soda at that point. I was a little bit more active, but I wasn't by no means, you know, making a very conscious effort to lose weight. But I got, you know, I lost a little weight into 8th grade. You know, I had lost 10 to 15 pounds, so by the start of high school, I was about 165 pounds, which women in my family hold weight pretty good, so I didn't look bad. I looked pretty good. I didn't feel great about myself, because not very many 14-year-old girls do, but people were noticing at this point that I had lost weight. And so, my freshman year of high school, I get into my first relationship, which ended up being a pretty long relationship. And he told me I was beautiful, and that was just, you know, before I dated him, even in freshman year, I liked these other guys. They weren't interested in me, but this guy, he was. And that relationship started off so exciting and so wonderful. And he never really said anything about my weight. At some point, you know, near the end of it, he started noticing that I was losing a lot of weight. But how do I get into this? I don't know how long we were dating. Let me do some research. It was either, you know, I don't know what month. I couldn't find much of an answer very quickly, but the Sports Illustrated Bikini Edition came out. And it had Kate Upton on the front. And already, I'm not very comfortable with this. But I'm sitting with this boyfriend and his friends at a table. And I think it was during this, this time called, oh gosh, what was that even called? Academic Lab, where it was time to, you know, like, do schoolwork, but if you didn't have anything to do, you could just go down to the cafeteria and hang out. So we're there. And him and his friend are talking about, they got to my boyfriend's house to hang out, and the Sports Illustrated, because they got the Sports Illustrated, not because of the bikini edition, obviously, but for the actual magazines. But this edition was sitting on the kitchen table from the mail. And they took this, and they ran, and they went and looked at it. And I'm sitting here this whole time, they're talking about it, laughing about it, like it's nothing. I'm already getting this pit in my stomach. And they start talking about the different models in this bikini, all these guys. And I am obviously tuned in, because I want to hear what's going to come out of the mouth of this guy that I'm dating. And I don't know, you know, obviously this has been years. Over 5 years, I think. But they start talking, and somehow the conversation got on, well, this model, no, this model. And my boyfriend says, No, it was so and so. Trust me, I know my bodies. Okay, so the story before this may not seem like much, but at the age I was, so young and impressionable when these other things happened, what he said, it was like I was knocked to the ground because I had finally trusted somebody and somebody finally thought I was beautiful. So I thought. After all of the rejection, somebody loved me. And now this person would rather sit and talk to his friends about these other women's bodies than talk to me. And he finds it okay to do that in front of me. And I was so... I don't even know. I don't remember the exact... I remember talking to him about it and being like, hey, I've had issues with body image. I've not eaten enough in the past, which was true. That really hurt me. And I don't remember how the conversation went, but I do remember that moment. And it still hits me. And that's how I know that it also changed my life. Something in that moment changed my life. And it had a lot of effects, and it still affects me today. So basically, during that relationship, it became very bad. Not all on him at all. He's a good person. I had my own issues, which will be a whole nother video. But that relationship got very toxic, and there was a whole summer where both of us were too young to drive. I was lonely as heck. I was home alone. I sat on the couch and cried and played Subway Surfers all day and ate like a Pop-Tart a day and ate enough at dinner so that my family wouldn't be able to tell that I wasn't eating, because I felt like, you know, from that point forward, to get this guy to like me, I was going to have to look like those girls. He was going to have to want to talk to me instead of, you know, I wanted him to not feel like he had to look at that, even though, like, I live a chaste life, I'll put it that way, but, like, you know, girls, you know how that feels. And so I wasn't eating much at all. This was the summer between my freshman and sophomore years in high school. And I wasn't eating, like I said, the peanut butter cookie Pop-Tarts are really good, if you were wondering, because that's what I ate, like, one of a day. But yeah, I spiraled into that, and I don't want to say anything crazy and say I had anorexia, because I don't think I did. But I wasn't eating, and it was a problem. And I don't want to go out and say I have body dysmorphia, because I've never been diagnosed with that. But I can tell you that, you know, all these things, you know, still affect me in a way that I know that what I see in the mirror could not be what I actually look like in reality and to other people, because what I see in the mirror 99% of the time could not fit in the clothing sizes that I purchased at the store and put on. That's how I know. So basically at this point, you know, when I started dating this person, I was 165 pounds. By like my junior year in high school, this relationship was over. My parents had dieted. I was having a lot of struggles with depression, so not eating as much related to that, as well as the body image. And so by the end of that relationship in my junior year of high school, I was about 145 pounds. So at this point, a lot of people had taken notice. Were like, how did you do it? And, you know, these moms of people at my school be like, oh my gosh, you look so good. Like, how did you do that? Like, I want you to be able to help my kid. And I didn't have an answer. My mom would answer. I lost like 20 pounds in like a year and a half. And even though it was terrible and difficult and I did not lose it healthily, I wouldn't trade it for the world, because obviously at that point, you know, I don't want to say I was healthier because I hadn't given my body what it needed, but I had set the stage for myself to become healthier. I had lost the fat, you know, basically. So what does all this mean? It means that now I'm almost 21 years old and I still feel the effects of these things. It means that I acknowledge that something I went through is able to infect my life now. From time to time, I still become obsessed with counting calories and making sure that I'm not going to gain weight, because one of my biggest fears is to gain weight, because some of my lowest times in my life have been associated with that. It's been a huge trigger for my anxiety and depression in the past, is just the thought of gaining weight or being too big or not looking right or jiggling or showing cellulite. It's one of the biggest things that makes me spiral and feel worthless. Not that I think that people, that are overweight are worthless, but it made me feel worthless, and it made other people find me worthless, which is ridiculous, but it did, and I acknowledged that, and I knew that. And so to this day, that still affects me every day. And people that are close to me know this about me. I talk about it all the time. I reference it. I joke about it, because that's my way kind of dealing with the fact that it still affects me. Like, I'll say, oh, I'm sorry, like, you used to be fat. Like, that's what I'll say, because I feel immense guilt when I eat too much or I don't eat the right things. Not because it's bad for my body, but because I'm so scared of losing weight. So my junior and senior year of high school weren't terrible years for me in terms of body image. Like, yes, it affected me, and even since then, it hasn't been terrible, but it has been, like I said, a large trigger for my anxiety and my depression. But I've become a lot more comfortable in my body. And like I said, I don't see how I truly look. I'm not there. I don't know if I'll ever be. Like, I'm going to have kids, and I'm fully aware that it's probably not going to get better, but I'm going to keep trying. I have amazing people around me that uplift me, and I really appreciate that, because I need it. So I made this video because I know that there are young people, especially girls out there, that feel these things and are experiencing these things right now. And I want them to see this video and know that, number one, it's not necessary to do these things. Number two, what people say to you and about you should not be what makes you lose weight. It should be you wanting to be healthy and you wanting to stick around and not make any of your decisions be the reason that you're sick or can't do things that other people can do. Your health is a priority. So I'm not telling you that I lost weight those ways because I think you should. I'm telling you the story because if people are going through those things, I want them to know that it's not what's right. I want them to know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And I want people that maybe consider those ways of losing weight to know that it's not the right way. Would I change the things I did? No. I wouldn't. I can't explain why, but I wouldn't. But please don't. Don't eat a Pop-Tart a day. They may be delicious. I haven't had a Pop-Tart in so long. But they may be delicious, but don't. Don't do that. You're worth more than that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for letting me overshare and open up. I enjoy it. I love oversharing. I said that in my very first video. This was the first real oversharing video. I don't even consider this oversharing. I just consider this sharing. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for sticking with me through it. I'm sure I missed details of this story, but that's just the main points. Like I said, I don't hold anything against these people that said things to me or about me. I don't, because I've made mistakes in my life and I've judged people and I've not let people in my life because of certain things that they can't control. So, and things they can't control, so I do not. And please, if you know who I'm talking about in these videos, don't even think about it. Don't even, no. I'm just telling you my story, and that's just the blunt facts of the story. That's what happened to me in my life, and everyone has stories like that. And I think there's a lot of people don't tell their story because they're scared that, they have to protect people that have hurt them, but I know I've hurt people. And like, sure, it's a little scary to think that people could go out there and say things that I've done that hurt them, but it's my job as a person to own up to the fact that I've made mistakes, because we all do. So again, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for sitting here with me, watching me rant and then say I'm going to go away and then rant. Please, if you enjoyed this, share it with people that you think could benefit from it. Please comment, like, subscribe. I'd love to keep you around. Some videos would be goofier than this. Some videos maybe even get more serious than this. But I appreciate every single second of you watching this video. I loved making it. Thank you. Thank you, and have a good day.